During the next half hour, we'll talk to Archbishop Blaise Cupich on the significance of the upcoming Days of Mercy and Forgiveness. We'll take an in-depth look at how your money is spent when donated to the annual Catholic Appeal. And we'll see how Catholic school children held a very special birthday celebration for Pope Francis. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello, I'm Todd Williamson, Director of the Office for Divine Worship with the Archdiocese of Chicago. Welcome to Catholic Chicago. Joining me as always is Archbishop Blaise Cupich. Archbishop, it's good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Todd. Great to be with you again.
Thank you. The last time we were together was just about a couple of weeks before the beginning of the Jubilee Year of Mercy.
That's right.
Now we're well into it, a month into the Year of Mercy, and so we want to talk a little bit more about that. There's a couple of things that are planned on the Archdiocesan level coming up, specifically, for example, Friday and Saturday, March 4th and 5th, 24 hours of mercy and forgiveness. What's the background to this effort of the Archdiocese?
Well, we have done this before in coordination with the Holy See, offering the sacrament of reconciliation, the sacrament of penance or confession to people to make it more accessible to them. And that's why we have stationed a number of churches that are going to be available 24 hours in order to receive this sacrament. And it is a part of experiencing the mercy of God. We also have a number of parishes that are part of the Jubilee Year of Mercy that are designated as Holy Year churches with a holy door, and they will as well be a spot, a place where people can experience the mercy of God. 24
hours. Availability for the Sacrament of Penance and Reconciliation.
Yes.
What's the hope in this? That every Catholic will take advantage of that?
Well, I would hope that people would realize, first of all, that our priests are very generous and wanting to be available to them because, as we all know, the sacrament of reconciliation and penance is about more than just being washed clean of our sin. There's also healing that takes place that is involved. It's not like going to the laundromat and then getting your soul washed. But there's also a moment in which we really do experience the mercy of God in a way that heals us, because we really have to not just go back to where we were before, but in fact take the next step of the journey of our life. And I think our priests, in being available, are saying to people they want to help them take that next step.
You know, this takes place in the season of Lent, right? The season of reflection and repentance and renewal. And what I love about the order of penance is even in the rite itself, there are a number of places, for example, where it's talking about the counsel that the confessor gives. There's a couple of places where it gives the phrase, to help the penitent begin a new life.
Right.
Talk about that.
Well, and I think that's within the renewal of the sacrament that was ushered in by the Second Vatican Council, because it's not a matter of just having, as I said earlier, our sins forgiven, but taking the next step. That's why we quote from the second letter of Paul to the Corinthians in the formula for absolution. We say, God, the Father of mercies, through the death and resurrection of Jesus, has reconciled the world to himself. That is really a narrative. It's a story. It shows that our lives are stories, that they unfold chapter by chapter. And by having that as part of the absolution prayer, what we're really trying to convey to people is that we want their whole life to hold together as a story. And it's important for them not to see their sinfulness as just something that's episodic, but rather that God is with them every step of the way. Mm-hmm. They can put aside the past that was there because a new future opens up to them. Mm-hmm. That's what the sacrament really should convey to people.
It's about conversion, right? A continual call to conversion, not, as you say, simply wiping a slate clean.
Well, and in the early church, the sacrament of penance used to be referred to as a second baptism.
Right, right.
And there's a beautiful story in the book of Eusebius that goes back to the 4th century that tells about the Apostle John, who was helping a young man who became then a criminal, a gang member. And so he, in his elderly years, went after him. And there's a scene in which he takes this young man who is very, very sorry for what he did, and he runs to John as he knew him when he's a young man. And John enfolds him in an embrace, and he says that his tears were a second baptism. His tears of repentance were a second baptism. So it does get us on a new path. It is a rebirth.
Yeah, it brings us back to the state that baptism first gave us, right?
Exactly.
Being baptized and recreated into the image of Christ, so it returns us to that.
Right.
We have a number of resources from our own archdiocese for the Year of Mercy. There are bulletin inserts, there are videos available, there is a commentary on the Gospel of Luke from Father Lou Camelli.
Right.
Why Luke's Gospel?
Because it is the one that we have in this year, but also
That's right, Cycle C.
It's the one in which we also take into consideration that evangelist is the one who says most about mercy. It's very unique because it's the only one that has the story of the Good Samaritan,
Right.
or the story also of the prodigal son.
Right, right.
And the prodigal son is that story that in some way helps us understand God's mercy.
Oh my. So there's a lot available. Certainly those resources can be found, all sorts of resources, at www.jubileemercy.org. That's www.jubileemercy.org. Included in these resources are video segments called Mercy Moments. Each month, our radio TV office will post a personal story of a person experiencing the mercy of God and how that has transformed their life. Here's a look at the first of our Mercy Moments.
I came here 20 years ago. Always go to church on Sunday, but never really participate in any mass. Was more important for me making money and my career and just live the life fullest for myself. And I never thought about God. And one year, my sister brought me the book about Sister Faustina. After I finished the book, I was thinking, oh, I want to go and talk to Jesus like Sister Faustina. But I didn't really know where to go. I wasn't parishioner of this parish, St. Francis Borgia. One day I came here and found the Adoration Chapel. I don't know how many minutes I was there, 20, maybe 30. And after that, I come out and this changed my life. I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I cannot live without God now. My life is changed. I came home, I told my wife, we have to change my life. We have to change our life. And I started going to church. I never was confirmed, so I came here. And in March 16, 2013, I was confirmed. And in the same year, we married in church. When I came here and I met my wife, I never thought I need to be married in Catholic Church, so I just married civilly. But after coming back to church, I know how important it is be with God. So we get married in church, in front of God, and He was our witness. And now I am the lector in our parish, Eucharistic minister, and also this year I started study to become the deacon. And hope, with help of God, I achieved this in 4 years, and I can proclaim His word and give example for people and tell them that life without God doesn't make sense. In this year of mercy, God means so much to me because I live in sin and He let me come back to Him. He always waited for me. He was patient and waited for me so many years, even I was so far from Him. And I thank Him so much. I love Jesus and Mary.
Ah, a powerful moment for that gentleman in experiencing God's mercy. You see these personal accounts of people and how they experience the overwhelming, overpowering mercy of God, and it gives one pause.
Well, and it really does put a fine point on something that Pope Francis is saying, is that each individual has their own journey of faith and experience of mercy. And that's just what a priest has to take into consideration as he really is a doctor of souls, because everyone has their own wound. Everyone has their own need of healing. And so as we saw in this beautiful witness by this gentleman, we all have an area in our life where we experience the mercy of God in a very unique way, and we should treasure that.
Again, write this down. For all the information on the Jubilee of Mercy and the latest on Days of Mercy and Forgiveness, go to www.jubileemercy.org. That's www.jubileemercy.org. And our next topic is actually strongly related to our first topic. It's the annual Catholic Appeal, which gears up across the Archdiocese now, this January. It's no coincidence that this year's appeal is called The Hands of God's Mercy. Archbishop, some people, maybe in a more cynical mood, might ask, what's the connection between donating money and God's mercy?
Well, what it does is it gives us the ability as a corporate community, as a whole community here of 2.2 million Catholics, to organize our charity. Pope Benedict XVI said in one of his encyclicals that charity has to be organized. Otherwise, it becomes scattered, and it does not become focused. So what we do in reaching out to those who are in need of preparing people, future priests, for ministry, which is a very important part of our own annual budget, to the way that we support some parishes that really are struggling, and schools as well, to the ways in which we reach out to those who are grieving the loss of loved ones through the training of lay ministers, and those who are seeking reconciliation if their marriages are broken through our tribunals, the newspaper by which we get out the good news. All of these have cost, of course, but what they do is they allow us their vehicles by which we can organize our mercy. So I'm so very grateful to people and their generosity of donating to the annual Catholic Appeal. And one thing they should know as well is that when they do donate, if their parish does make their goal, anything beyond the goal stays in the parish. So that allows them to, in each of their parishes, to carry on their own works of mercy within their parish, so that together we can accomplish a great deal.
So really, this truly is connected to the last topic we were talking about. Is not to give alms, isn't that an example of a corporal act of mercy?
Well, it is, and I think what it also does is it makes sure that we understand that we're not individuals. We are the body of Christ, and as we pull together our resources to make sure that we do something that is significant, we can be proud of the impact that we have. The Catholic Church here in Chicago does an enormous amount of good. We have an enormous footprint of 360 parishes, over 200 schools. We have hospitals. We have so many other ways in which Catholic Charities do so much work. That
whole idea of it being a communal piece. I mean, John Paul himself said it. No one is saved as individuals alone, but always as part of the community.
That's exactly right.
And here's an example of that. Our radio TV office wanted to show people in the Archdiocese exactly how the annual Catholic Appeal money is used. So they produced a video highlighting the offices and ministries that get assistance from the appeal. Let's take a look at that video here.
The Archdiocese of Chicago shares the gift of God's love with more than 2.2 million Catholics in Cook and Lake counties. The schools, ministries, agencies, and programs of the Archdiocese serve Catholics and non-Catholics alike throughout northeastern Illinois.
Each year, the Archdiocese of Chicago reaches out to the Catholic faith community for support. This year's annual Catholic Appeal falls during the Worldwide Jubilee of Mercy, giving special significance to the act of giving.
As we consider how we as individuals, as parishes, reach out to those who need God's mercy and how we can be agents of mercy, we're given a chance in the annual appeal to collectively be an agent of mercy for those who are in need.
The need is greatest for parishes and schools serving financially challenged communities. For them, the annual Catholic Appeal is a lifeline.
St. John Bridgman's has used the money from the annual Catholic Appeal. We've put handicapped restrooms in the lower level of the church. We've put handicapped restrooms in the upper level of the church. We've fixed masonry that was otherwise deferred maintenance, and we were able to do it. We've done all kinds of work in our school. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We've really benefited from the annual Catholic Appeal.
Amid financial challenges, the Archdiocese provides a faith-based education to hundreds of thousands of young people in Catholic schools and religious education programs. This is how we assure the future of Catholic Chicago.
Our Catholic schools depend upon the generosity of our many supporters. As the African proverb says, it takes a village to raise a child. Our schools do an exceptional job of educating our children in the faith and in the skills and knowledge they need to be successful in life. Our children nowadays are exposed to conflicting messages about life and society, and so our schools provide them with the moral compass, the tether they need to be successful. In addition, we're providing them with essential knowledge and skills that they'll need for college and career and beyond. We're forming the future leaders of our planet.
Children receive a strong moral foundation in both our Catholic schools and in religious education programs that thrive in parishes throughout the Archdiocese.
We need merciful God in our city and our streets, in our society. We also need merciful people. And mercy doesn't just appear from anything. It's born in the communities, in families, in parishes. Thanks to your support of the annual Catholic Appeal, we are able to educate nearly 200,000 students in our religious education programs and in our Catholic schools, giving them the gospel values of mercy, compassion. We not only change their mind, through them, we are changing the world.
Passing on our Catholic faith occurs in parish communities throughout the Archdiocese. Those communities are vibrant and alive with our Catholic faith thanks to lay volunteers and staff. They stay at the top of their game through excellent lay formation programs.
The annual Catholic Appeal provides funding for ongoing formation and education for a wide variety of people who minister in the parishes, pastoral associates, directors of religious education, directors of youth ministry, directors of young adult ministry, directors of faith formation. We want them to provide the best ministry that they can to the people in the parishes and to be the best ministers that they can be, because the people of God are entitled to that.
The Appeal supports several ministries that form the core of our Catholic faith. Among them, the Respect Life Office, which works to build a culture of life throughout the Archdiocese and beyond.
Well, thanks to the generosity of everybody in the Archdiocese of Chicago, we're able to have a Respect Life office, which actually allows us to go out and talk to everybody in Chicago about the importance of life from conception to natural death. And that means anything in between, and certainly the dignity of human existence as well. So not only issues with abortion, but certainly end-of-life issues, physician-assisted suicide, and just taking care of people in situations where they're not being taken care of. So these are the kinds of things we deal with in the Respect Life office.
Pope Francis stresses the importance of advocating social justice for all. The Appeal supports Catholic social teaching in the Archdiocese through peace and justice initiatives and through the Colby House Prison Ministry.
Once a month we have a Santuario Mass, which is a Mass dedicated for the incarcerated and for the family members that come together in fellowship at 3 p.m. first Sunday of the month. And here's where they come and worship, but also come and fellowship together as family members of incarcerated. We minister to them, we give them Bibles, we give them a lot of booklets, prayer cards, and on the outside we also provide services for the family members that they are in need of clothes, food. We have a food pantry, but also we assist them at times as needed. We assist them with their bills. Those are the services that we provide for the family members.
Being an extension of God's mercy means caring for the needy, not just in the Archdiocese of Chicago, but helping the marginalized around the world. Catholic Relief Services does just that, assisting the poor and vulnerable overseas.
The annual Catholic Appeal of the Archdiocese helps CRS do programming throughout the world that helps countries with emergency assistance, different projects like restorative justice in Rwanda, fair trade, coffee in Colombia, and other parts of the world. CRS really embodies the Church's call of mercy by lifting up the vulnerable overseas and helping them in our name. But I would say it also engages Catholics in global solidarity and what it means to encounter Christ and our brothers and sisters overseas.
The need is great, and the need is now. So much good comes from your contributions.
We have known God's generosity in our lives. Let us extend God's generosity and mercy to others.
Please support the annual Catholic Appeal. Together, let's share the gifts of our Catholic faith.
Your donations to the annual appeal help us reach out to people who are easily left behind, people who need their educational programs supported in their parishes, ways in which we train catechists, also the ways in which we support the formation of deacons who do so many wonderful things, and of course those who are training for priesthood. So all of the various offices that we have in the Archdiocese, all of the efforts that we make on behalf of those who are in need, your donations help us be collectively in this Archdiocese an agent of mercy in this Jubilee year.
So those monies really do help the agencies of the Archdiocese as well to minister.
That's right.
For more information on the annual Catholic Appeal, including a chance to see that video again, go to annualcatholicappeal.com. Our closing story has to do with our Catholic schools and a birthday celebration for Pope Francis. But before we take a look at that video of that event, Archbishop, talk a little bit about Pope Francis himself. He is an immensely popular figure right now. And what are some of the characteristics of his that that you can attribute this to?
Well, I think he comes across as real. He's an individual who's very authentic. That is something that we saw personally in last September when I was there with Catholic Extension, in which he was shown a little poster of himself in a cartoon version, Flat Francis, and he just had an uproarious laugh. He had a belly laugh. He just reacted in a way that was just so endearing, and it was in fact a little photo that went around the world and is in fact in a Twitter commercial right now, I understand. The other thing I think is that he's an individual who realizes that we all have to work together in order for the Church to grow and mature. He wants to make sure that we treat people like adults. He's calling people to take responsibility for their life and for one another, and yet do it in such a way that we don't get in the way of God's mercy, that we in some way inhibit God's grace in people's lives. And I think that has a very compelling message for a lot of people, and that's why he's so popular.
4 Chicago Catholic schools are combining to form the new Pope Francis Global Academy. It's believed that this is the first Catholic elementary school in the United States to bear the name of Pope Francis. Approximately 200 6th, 7th, and 8th graders came together in December to celebrate the Pope's 79th birthday. Let's take a look at that here now.
Happy birthday, Pope Francis. I hope you continue to be doing what you're doing, helping other people in need and making sure that everyone gets good education and help, and for everyone who is poor, that you keep helping them.
Pope Francis has brought all the people of the Church and called all the people of the world, I think, to a more basic recognition of what we're called to be as Christians, as followers and disciples of Jesus. With our school being named the Pope Francis Global Academy, the idea is to help focus our students and our families' attention on what we're called to be as mature Christians and followers of Jesus.
I know he has a Twitter account. I know that he was born in Argentina. I know that his real name is George.
I like Pope Francis because he helps the environment and he helps the people who are in need.
Francis helped repair relations between the United States and what other country? Man, that team is hot. We are going to be playing Pope Francis Trivia, and that's when I break up the whole big group here into 5 smaller groups and ask them trivia questions about the Pope's life, and we're going to see who wins at the end.
At this station, we're doing a service project. We're making placemats for Meals on Wheels, which is like a food truck for the homeless. And we're also making catnip balls for the American Anti-Cruelty Society. This matters for Pope Francis's birthday because when he was a cardinal in Argentina, he was really well known for giving back to the poor and going among the poor. And so making sure that our students give back to the poor is an homage to Pope Francis.
I personally think he's a great pope, doing a lot to help people strengthen their faith.
Well, the Pope, he does a lot of incredible things. Like he helps out children in need for school. He takes care of homeless people and feeds them food, and he celebrates Mass. I think it's a great opportunity for all the students to wish him a happy birthday, and we get to know more about the Pope.
Alexis! Help Alexis! Help her! Help her, Alexis!
Today we're doing an obstacle course in which students have to work together to accomplish common goals and survive the course and get to the end.
Don't look down!
I think the Pope is good because, like, he's kind of like different from some of the other popes. Like, he does different stuff, and I think he's pretty cool, like the stuff he does.
What's going on here at this station is the kids are making a birthday card for the Pope. And the birthday card has a sentence that says, "My wish for you is," and they have to fill it out. And what I like about it is some of the kids are either doing it in Spanish or Latin or English, and then they get to color it.
We get to make birthday cards for him because he does a lot for us, and then we can do something for him. I know that he cares about us a lot, and I think it was really good that we picked his name for our school.
Happy birthday, Pope Francis. I hope you stay healthy.
Happy birthday, Pope Francis. You're a great leader, and I hope that you keep on doing good deeds and spreading the good news.
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Francis! Happy birthday to
What a delightful video.
Such effervescence in those young kids.
Do you think we could send that birthday message, even though it would be belated, to Pope Francis?
Well, I did send a message
Really?
yes, they sent something to me and I forwarded on to the Holy See already, so he knows that these young people wished him well on his birthday.
All over the world. Even on Facebook, I saw people from every country posting birthday greetings to him. So a great opportunity for those of us to pray for the Holy Father.
Without question.
Archbishop, thank you very much for your thoughts and your comments. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Great to be with you.
And to our listeners, we thank you for watching as well. For Catholic Chicago, I'm Todd Williamson. Until next time, God bless.
We invite you to watch segments of Catholic Chicago and hundreds of additional Catholic videos at youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.